"It's a boy!" Another beautiful baby boy would be welcomed into our family. My heart felt this love, a love that brought me instantly to tears. Looking back, my heart knew that our son Axel was going to be special, and in so many ways life-changing. At our 18-week ultrasound, something was seen on his heart, and we were sent for an echo to get a closer look. Surrounded by a team of doctors and nurses, we were told his left ventricle was protruding, and there was a hole in the bottom of his heart. At 6 weeks of age, Axel was unable to maintain his weight and was admitted into the Children's Hospital for failure to thrive. A swallow test was done, and it showed that the muscles in his airway were immature, causing the milk to go into his lungs. Then another echo showed a second hole in his heart. Finally, after 15 days, 2 happy, tired, and nervous parents left with a more stable baby with a feeding tube in his nose and a diagnosis of laryngomalacia, also known as floppy airway. After 3 months, Axel's weight gain suggested we could wean him off the tube, and we were referred to an OT who helped us transition to nursing. We had the most wonderful OT who supported, coached, advocated, comforted, and encouraged us through months of teaching Axel how to nurse safely. After Axel passed his swallow study, we were discharged from OT, and Axel started seeing a private SLP for delayed speech. In such a short period of time, Axel's speech improved immensely. However, I couldn't shake the feeling we were still missing something. I asked his pediatrician to refer him to ENT to rule out a cleft palate. After hearing his voice and agreeing it sounded quite nasally, she wondered if he might have a genetic condition called 22q11 deletion, also known as DeGeorge syndrome. When suspecting 22q11, they look for a triad, which is a heart defect, feeding issues in infancy, and hypernasality. On April 8, 2021, Axel's pediatrician informed me his genetic testing came back positive for 22q11 deletion. As I processed this diagnosis, I was relieved we finally had a name for all this, but I also felt a deep sadness that this wasn't something he would get over. DeGeorge syndrome is caused when a tiny portion of the 22nd chromosome is deleted. It is the second most common syndrome to Down syndrome, and 1 in 2,000 people are born with it. Because it's a genetic condition, Axel has a 50% chance of having a child with 22q11 deletion. My heart sunk. This added a whole other level of grief. Not only would this forever be a part of Axel, but it could continue through his own future family. We survived the diagnosis, but would they? I felt like I grieved harder for his family than I did over our journey. On hard days, I try to remind myself that not only does God have amazing plans for Axel, but for his future family as well. Axel is now 6 years old and in kindergarten. We've begun a whole new journey of navigating the school system and advocating for him, which can feel very intimidating. I think about how far he has come and how he has exceeded so many expectations, and I know I don't need to worry about his future. One of Axel's passions is superheroes. Little does he know that he is actually a real-life superhero, conquering hardships, crushing goals, impacting people's lives, and adding a lot of humor and cuteness along the way. Of course, every successful superhero needs sidekicks to help him out. Axel wouldn't be where he's at today without each of his sidekicks. The medical parent world can feel isolating, lonely, scary, emotional, and layered with grief and sadness. These sidekicks are necessarily placed in our superheroes' lives. Sometimes it's for a day, a month, or for years. I used to think it was a privilege to know them, but now I realize it's a privilege for them to know Axel and be a part of his story. He has changed me and others in so many ways, and is constantly reminding me to trust God through every twist and turn in life. I wouldn't change a thing about my always dancing, funny, kind, cuddly, and loving boy. A passage in the Bible plays continuously on my heart, and I pray they impact your heart as well. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Psalm 139, verses 13 to 14.